All right, so get this. We're diving into protection spells today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you sent over this guide.
Right.
We're going to break it down, see if there's anything practical in there.
Okay.
Even if, like, magic isn't really your thing.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, who hasn't wished for a little extra protection sometimes?
Seriously.
Like, you know, when you're dealing with someone who just drains your energy,
Oh, yes.
or you move into a new place and it's got like weird vibes.
Right, exactly. And this guide talks about protection spells as a way to, like,
Mm-hmm.
create energetic boundaries.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like a way to sort of, like, make your personal space more real?
It's a great way to think about it. You know,
Yeah.
in psychology, we talk a lot about personal boundaries,
Right.
how important those are for your well-being.
For sure.
And these spells seem to be doing the same thing, but using like rituals and symbols,
Yeah.
you know, to really make those boundaries more tangible.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the guide also says that your intentions
Yeah.
are, like, super important.
Right.
Like, they're everything.
It's all about your intention.
Which makes sense even if you're not into magic.
Right.
Right?
Totally.
Like, mindset and visualization are powerful tools.
For sure.
No matter what.
Absolutely. And it's not just about thinking positive thoughts and hoping for the best.
Right.
It's more like, you know, consciously directing your energy.
Okay.
You're focused towards creating the kind of protection you need.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk ingredients.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the guide lists a bunch of stuff for these spells.
Right.
Some pretty normal, some not so much.
Yeah.
Like black tourmaline, for example.
Okay.
It's described as this, like, negativity sponge.
Yeah.
It's supposed to absorb bad vibes.
So it just soaks it all up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, even if it's not literally sucking up bad vibes.
Yeah.
Do you think holding a piece of black tourmaline,
Right.
focusing on it,
Uh-huh.
could actually make you feel more grounded, more protected? Like a physical reminder of that intention.
Okay. And then there's sage.
Right.
I know everyone burns sage these days for, like, everything.
It's very popular.
But the guide says it's been used for cleansing for centuries,
Oh, wow.
like across cultures.
Interesting.
So it's not just a trendy thing. It's got history.
Right, that historical context is really important.
Yeah.
I mean, these practices have been passed down for generations.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've changed and adapted over time.
Mm-hmm.
But that core idea of like purification,
Right.
clearing out the bad stuff, that stayed consistent.
And then we got mirrors.
Okay.
Apparently they reflect negativity back to where it came from.
Oh, wow. Like return to sender.
Right.
That's a power move.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
So we've got crystals, sage mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
What else is in this guide?
Well, salt is a big one.
Okay.
It says salt creates a barrier,
Oh,
both physical and energetic.
Hmm.
It's like drawing a line in the sand saying, this is my space. Back off.
Which makes sense. Like, salt has been used for protection forever.
Think about how it used to be used to preserve food.
Right.
Like creating a barrier against spoilage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a physical barrier.
Yeah.
It symbolizes keeping things safe and pure.
Okay. So maybe even if you don't believe in the magic part of it,
Mm-hmm.
just using it in a ritual could still have a psychological effect.
Absolutely. It's like making your intention real.
Okay.
You know, you're taking something tangible,
Right.
something with a history of protection,
Right.
and using it to create a symbolic boundary.
I like that. And the guide also talks about crystals
Yes.
because they can amplify your intentions.
Right.
But it also says that, like, the science behind that is still kind of debated.
Yeah, the science is still out on that one.
Yeah. But even if we don't totally get how or why they work,
Mm-hmm.
you can't deny the power of belief.
For sure.
Like, the placebo effect is real.
Oh, absolutely. If you believe something will help you, it often does.
Yeah.
Even if there's no scientific reason for it.
Yeah. So maybe the act of choosing a specific crystal,
Right.
holding it,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on its properties,
Yeah.
maybe that's a way to tap into your subconscious.
It could be like programming yourself for protection.
Right.
It's about using those external tools
Mm-hmm.
to focus and amplify your internal energy,
Oh,
your
cool.
intention.
Gotcha.
It's like a form of self-hypnosis almost.
Interesting.
You know, using objects to help you tap into your own inner strength.
Okay, so let's talk about an actual spell.
Oh, yeah.
The guide has one called the Salt Circle. This seems pretty easy.
Oh, yeah. That one caught my eye, too.
So we break it down?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
So the salt circle, it's like a classic protection spell.
Okay.
You light a black candle,
Uh-huh.
take some salt, sprinkle it in a circle around you.
So like around my bedroom or something.
Yeah, your bedroom, office, wherever you need the protection.
So you're making a physical barrier with the salt.
Yeah, and while you're doing that,
Okay.
you're supposed to say this incantation. And like visualize a shield of energy forming around you.
So it's like physical with the salt, verbal with the words,
Right.
and mental with the visualization.
Exactly. You're hitting it from all angles.
That's cool. And the guide says that's like a common thing
Oh, yeah.
in a lot of different protection practices.
Definitely. Not just in this guide, but like across cultures throughout history.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, there's the visualization part,
Okay.
creating a clear picture in your mind of what you want.
Right.
And then the repetition, the ritual of doing the actions. That helps focus your intention, make it stronger.
Yeah.
And then the spoken word, like saying your intention out loud.
It's like each thing reinforces the others.
Exactly.
And it builds up this feeling of protection.
Yeah, like they all work together.
You mentioned this is in other stuff too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like what are some real world examples?
Well, think about athletes.
Okay.
They visualize themselves winning a race.
Right.
Or musicians who mentally rehearse before a performance.
Oh, yeah. They're using visualization to prepare for success.
And rituals are everywhere.
Totally.
Religious ceremonies, everyday routines.
Right. People create rituals to bring order and meaning to their lives.
Just like brushing your teeth every day.
Exactly. It's not just about hygiene.
Right.
It's about establishing a pattern, a sense of control.
And saying things out loud, that's powerful too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But saying, I love you, it means way more than just thinking it.
Right. Or making a vow in front of witnesses.
Uh-huh.
It makes it more real, more binding.
So maybe the salt circle and other spells,
Yeah.
they're tapping into these very human ways of creating meaning.
I think, so they're using those basic principles.
Right.
Visualization, ritual, spoken word.
Yeah.
And they're making a framework for protection.
Okay, but not everyone's going to be like sprinkling salt and chanting.
Right.
So how can we apply this to everyday life?
That's where this guide gets really practical.
Okay.
It's about self-care, setting boundaries.
It's about knowing what drains your energy and protecting yourself.
So like, what would that look like?
It could be simple things.
Okay.
Like saying no to something that'll overwhelm you.
Right.
Or taking time to meditate and recharge.
Yeah.
Or spending time with people who lift you up.
So you're consciously creating that space,
Exactly.
that buffer to protect yourself from negativity.
And it's an ongoing thing, you know, not just a one-time fix.
Okay.
Like you might need to redraw your salt circle.
Yeah.
You need to keep checking in with yourself.
Right.
Adjust your boundaries as needed.
It's like building a fortress around your well-being.
I love that analogy. It's about being proactive,
Yeah.
taking responsibility for your own energy.
We talk about negative energy a lot.
Mhm.
What does that even mean?
Right. It doesn't have to be some spooky, mystical thing.
Okay.
It can be anything that drains you, disrupts your peace and balance.
Gotcha.
Could be stress from work, a toxic relationship,
Yeah.
even too much information online.
So anything that throws you off,
Exactly.
whether it's from outside or even your own thoughts.
Yeah, it's about becoming aware of those energy drains
Uh-huh.
and finding ways to minimize them.
So someone's listening to this.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, this is interesting, but I'm still not buying the magic thing.
Right.
What would you say to them?
I'd say that's totally fine. You
Yeah.
don't have to believe in magic to get something out of this.
Right.
It's about intention, self-awareness, taking control of your energy.
And even if you're skeptical, there's something about these rituals
Yeah.
that speaks to wanting protection, wanting to feel safe.
Absolutely. We all want to feel safe and secure.
For sure.
And these practices, whether you call them magic or something else,
Right.
they offer a way to do that.
Yeah.
They give us tools to create that sense of safety.
It's like taking back control,
Exactly.
building up your resilience so you can handle whatever life throws at you.
And isn't that something we all crave?
I know I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the tools, the spells, the mindset.
Right.
What does this mean for someone who's like intrigued but doesn't know where to start?
I think the first step is just being aware of your own energy.
Okay.
What drains you? What energizes you?
Yeah.
What boundaries do you need to feel safe?
So paying attention, noticing how things affect your energy.
Exactly. Cultivate that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because once you know what drains you, what protects you,
Right.
you can start making choices
Okay.
to create a more supportive environment for yourself.
And maybe that's the real magic,
Mm.
taking control of your well-being.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the most powerful magic of all.
So someone's ready to actually like try this stuff out,
Okay.
create those protective boundaries. Any specific techniques from the guide that you're liked?
Yeah, so besides the salt circle,
Right.
the guide mentions a bunch of different practices.
Okay.
Some use herbs or crystals, some are more about visualization,
Uh-huh.
but they all seem to focus on intention.
Yeah, and creating like a sacred space.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, there's one where you make a protection sachet.
Okay.
You fill it with herbs like rosemary and lavender,
Oh.
herbs associated with protection and purification. You charge them with your intention, and then you carry it with you.
So it's like a reminder of your protection.
Exactly, like a physical manifestation of your intention.
It's kind of like a worry stone,
Right.
but with a specific purpose.
And just the act of making the sachet,
Yeah,
that becomes a ritual,
right.
a way to focus your energy.
And even if you don't believe in the magic,
Mm-hmm.
just having that little reminder with you could be comforting,
Oh, for sure.
like a little confidence boost.
Like a secret weapon against negativity.
Right.
And again, it goes back to the placebo effect.
Yeah.
If you believe it's helping.
Right. Even if it's just psychological.
Exactly.
So it's like we're taking these ancient practices,
yeah.
these rituals.
And finding ways to make them work for us today.
That's what I find so interesting about all of this.
Yeah.
It's not about blindly following rules.
Okay.
It's about finding what resonates with you.
Right.
What feels authentic.
Making it your own.
Exactly.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
What makes you feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a salt circle,
Mm-hmm.
a sachet, or just taking a minute to breathe.
Right. And I think that's a really powerful message.
It is.
We can all create those boundaries,
Yeah.
cultivate that inner strength.
We don't have to wait for someone to save us.
Mm-hmm.
It's about taking charge of our own well-being.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of this guide.
Okay.
It's not just about spells.
Right.
It's about self-empowerment.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's one last thought you want to leave with our listener?
If you could only take away one thing from all this,
Okay.
remember that real protection comes from within, from knowing yourself, your boundaries,
Yeah.
making choices that are good for you.
Right.
Whether you find that through ritual, self-care, or both,
Uh-huh.
the power to protect yourself is in your hands.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
This has been so interesting.
It has.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And thanks to you, dear listener, for sending in this guide.
Yes. Thank you.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.